Hey, Teresa Hardister here. A little bit of a cold, but I'm still going to attempt to give you a thought for the day, or maybe week, since I'm doing this weekly. Ran across this piece that I wrote a few years ago, and thought it was something, I don't know, it just touched me, and I wanted to share it with you. So let's get right down to business. This one's called "It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday." And it is my sincere hope that when you hear these or watch my videos, that you take something from it, that you assess your own life and take something away with what I've said, my memory, or something that I've shared. Um, that's what I write for. That is why I write, is so that you can relate. And I've gotten some awesome feedback lately, and it's really made me so happy to hear that so many of you can relate to the things that I talk about. So without further ado, let's get on to "It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday." This is a very sentimental piece for me, and I'm going to really try not to get broken up. It seems like only yesterday that I impatiently begged Mom to let me go across the street to play with the neighbor's boy. "Look both ways when you cross and be home before supper" rang in my ears as I tore out the door. My ponytail whipping in the wind, I was running at breakneck speed to go play with Brian. I would come to a screeching halt before I knocked, so his grandma didn't think I was being impolite. The familiar sound of Brian's grandma carried from her kitchen to the back door, where I was ready to lunge. "Come on in, Tessie." Always smiling at me, she greeted me with a hug and an offer of supper. Summer, winter, fall, and spring, it always seemed so warm in her house. A familiar comfort as I look back now. Brian and I would rush back out that same door to practice all kinds of tomboy stuff, holding black snakes, teaching me to spit like a boy, and even hanging out in a cow pasture. It was a beautiful time, and I didn't even realize it then. I kept rushing across that street as the years passed, only returning back home after Mom made at least 2 phone calls to retrieve me. Grandma watched out her big picture window when I learned to drive Daddy's tractor, when I got my first four-wheeler, then my first date. She watched with hesitant breath as I flew out of the driveway in my sports car at 18. I always found time to knock at that back door no matter how old I was, and if I was lucky, I came away with a few warm biscuits to satisfy my hunger and her need to love Tessie. I got married. I had kids, and I still kept bolting back into her house when I visited Mom just to see Grandma. Sometimes I would lose track of time and end up staying way past supper once again. I couldn't help it. The warmth of her house and her presence always filled a need in my life. Time once more brought me closer, and I moved in next door to her, which was diagonally across from my mama. I saw her in the window looking on when my children were out chasing me with a water hose, and when my youngest discovered the fine art of worm hunting in our front yard. Her smile just the same as it had been so many years before, as she laughed and watched me and Brian wrestle, and one of us taking on a major hit and ending up in the ditch below her steep hill. She was always there watching, her eyes filled with pure delight. I went back to Grandma's house last week, standing at her back door, now a grown woman, with the hand of my little boy held tightly in mine. I looked down at my son. Our eyes met, and we looked at each other with such a somber expression. I heard that well-known holler from within as Brian, who of course is all grown up, yelled, "Come on in, TC." I felt the cold all around me. The emptiness consumed me, the only warmth coming from the little hand in mine. I continued to walk, as I had so many times. I could feel my tears welling, and then I heard it. "Oh, TC." I looked ahead, and there, in this now empty kitchen that had fed so many people, bodies, and souls, was sweet little Grandma in her wheelchair. I must tell you, no sight that I have seen in quite some time has had a bigger impact on me than what I saw. There was that smile, and her eyes lit up when she saw me rushing to her, her frail little arms reaching for me and my son. I stooped down and held her tightly. I felt her love surge through me, and the cold I had felt moments before quickly subsided. Here was this humble, kind woman looking up at me now, as I had looked up to her all those many years. Brian had brought her back from the nursing home one more time before her house was sold. Never have I seen such a more powerful image. Here was the woman who had been so good to me, my family, and my children, sitting in her wheelchair amidst the empty walls, cabinets, and rooms that had once been so full. We said goodbye and slowly made our way back home. My son and I said very little. We stopped at the clearing, and I said, "Did you notice?" He knew before I said it. It was the first time in either of our lives that we entered into her home and felt cold. That cold feeling has lingered inside me since we left. I sat outside that night and looked up at her house. There were no lights, no neatly pressed curtains, no angel in the window gazing out into the chilly night to make sure I was out there okay in the cold without a jacket. I have my memories. I have my inner warmth that will never leave me. Life passes very quickly, and sadly we must move with it. But we're allowed to pull out those recollections of the individuals who love us, adore us, and keep watch over us when we're feeling cold and alone. I can't go back. I can't sit and talk at our kitchen table. But I can cherish all those in my life right now who, without asking for anything in return, warm me, nourish me, and watch me grow. Cherish the moments. We aren't promised tomorrow. Slow down and take time to live each moment as you want to. Those memories will come in handy one fall night when you see a window with no curtains and life has moved on. I hope that was enough. I don't know how much I can follow up with that other than cherish those moments. Life does move really fast. So treasure every single moment, every single person. I can't tell you enough. This is Teresa Hardister, author of Uniquely Nobody, The Random Society, and The Tree. Be sure to subscribe. I'll let y'all know some more things soon. Talk to you later. Bye.